Welcome to the Marketing Corner, hosted by Shawn Campbell, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned small business owner, or a marketing pro looking to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. We're all about bringing you the latest insights, strategies, and real-world advice to help you thrive in today's competitive market. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Here's your host, Shawn Campbell.
Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell. And it's for those people listening on the podcast, just let everybody know it's 75 degrees today in Tucson, Arizona. And it feels like the beginning of spring. So I want a little snow, John. We bring snow, and then we need a little cooler air coming in. Maybe. Yeah. A little bit closer, Mark. A little bit closer to Mike.
Maybe some sleigh bells.
Yeah. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Oh, danger.
There you go.
Hey, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some sleigh bells and some Santa sound effects.
Yeah. Co-host today is Mark Weiss.
Hello.
How you been, Mark?
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I hear you got a gig coming up for like Stacy Fowler and Tucson Business Network.
Oh,
You're doing something for...
Yeah, the networking conference that she's doing. One of a kind, first time event here in Tucson. Pretty exciting.
Why don't we get her on the show?
You know, let's
do it.
Let's do it.
Boom, Stacy Fowler, how are you?
Good morning, good afternoon,
Have you ever
everyone.
had an introduction like that? Were you a little lost? Like, I'm here.
When I started this, I never knew that I'd be invited to the Marketing Corner and be here with you, Shawn. Thank you, Mark.
We were very, very excited when Mark let me know you're going to be on. You and I have kind of crossed paths for a number of years, so I want you to, get into how you started Tucson Business Network, what your dream about it was, and where we're at today. I mean, what is the objective of Tucson Business Network?
So for all that are listening, have you ever had a dream, even as a child, growing up, even as an adult, that you wanted so badly, but you could never figure out if it made sense, if it would work? How would you do it, and it just stays in your head? It keeps you up at night. Well, that's what I'm living right now.
Yeah.
And I made that dream come true. And I during the show, I'll talk to you all about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, how many members is Tucson Business Networking currently have?
We have over 430 members.
Wow. So, Mark, you and I have talked about this, and whenever I have a marketing consultation with a potential new client, I always tell them their first objective, even before you start social or a new website or anything else. Your first objective is to be 1 degree away from everybody.
Yes,
and that's what Stacy's group actually can help you accomplish. With over 400 members,
no doubt,
400 marketers, 400 small business owners, entrepreneurs. I mean, where else would you get a better start to start a business than Tucson Business Networking?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You get them all pretty much sometimes in the same room. And there's always different faces at the mixers. Stacy does a great job of putting it all together and getting the right people in the rooms.
Yeah. So tell us about how it works, Stacy. I mean, if I'm a member, how often do you have events? Where are they? What can you expect if someone has never been to one of your events?
So first of all, the website is TucsonBusinessNetworking.com. And you can go to the About section to learn more. You can find all the members. It's public in the member directory. And then there's the upcoming events, future events, and 2025 is nearly full for next year. Just needing to fill the last 3 months of next year.
Nice.
So it's pretty filled. I've had 3 events every month the last few years. And in 2025, we have 2 events every month and then a sponsor breakfast quarterly.
Yeah. If you have any questions, if you're listening right now that you want to ask Stacy or Mark or myself, it's 520-790-2040, 520-790-2040. Stacy, you have a big event coming up next week. Can you tell? This is your first one of its kind, right?
Yes. So I started Tucson Business Networking July 1st, 2017. And I had two goals when I started it. I wanted to have my own book or magazine, and I wanted to have a major conference where I'd have a 3-day event, an opening reception, and then 2 days, and then end it with the end of the year networking party. Some people call it a Christmas party, holiday party, whatever you want to call it. It's the end of the year party.
Yeah.
And next week I have 37 speakers, including Mark Weiss.
Ooh, woo.
And every hour you can choose 3 different speakers or go in and out of the sessions.
Her speaker lineup is incredible.
Yeah, if you're a part of it, it has to be.
Thank you. I'm honored to be a part of it.
I think you were my first pick of the first.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But she's got Coach Mike Candrea. She's got Ricky Hunley from the university. You've got Howard
Stewart.
She's got Susan Gray from TEP. So
what's really exciting is we're going to have Dr. Guillermo Higa from Carondelet, and he's bringing his robot that performs like bariatric surgeries.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. He's a general surgeon, and he does bariatric. And just every speaker from CPAs to financial to... I have someone that used to work for NASA. She's speaking.
Wow.
Some of the speakers will talk about their journey from where they started to where they are now. Intelligent design. I believe they do 20 million in a year in sales, and they're going to be talking about their philanthropy and what they do, how they help.
And what are you going to be giving your
I'm
spiel
actually
on?
doing a section on the art of luxury, mastering high ticket sales.
Wow.
And so I'm really excited about presenting it for the first time.
Do you have an outfit picked out already?
I've been considering different colored ties. And, so
I think you got to go with a blue, right?
Yeah.
A blue with a little bit of a gold.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's luxury, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely 3-piece suit or something.
And it's got to be Dodger blue.
Dodger blue, baby. What an exciting time.
Yeah. When and where is this event, Stacy?
It's December 10th through the 12th. Tuesday evening, we're kicking it off with a cocktail party, and Howard Stewart is paying for the drinks.
Ooh.
And we're also giving away a trip for 2 valued at $10,000 for a European cruise.
Wow.
So we're pretty excited about that.
Nice.
Not to get too lost or too tied up in the event, but can you can you briefly tell us like kind of what your vision for the event was and what you wanted it to be to Tucson? Because this really is kind of like the first type of event in a networking setup that we've seen here in Tucson.
Yeah,
that's right. So the other events that I typically do are lunches, breakfasts, mixers that bring a lot of people together. But this one, the underlying purpose of the event is to bring everyone to a retreat, a conference. It's not just 2 hours or a luncheon. You say hello, you leave. You're going to spend more time with each person and get to know them and really do more business, create those relationships. You're going to just, that's really what the purpose is to bring everyone together.
Yeah, and I really like the timing of this because, with everybody's resolutions and you're resetting the marketing budgets, and I mean, what better way to get prepared for 2025 than an event like this?
And that's why I wanted to do it in December and tie it to the end of the year party. Right. The only challenge is that people are going out of town or they have other things or other parties. So it's, you never know when a good time to throw a big event. It's hard.
And no,
it's really
but
hard.
You're going to get people that are serious about growing their business
Absolutely.
And understand the value of it and say, look, this is going to have to take precedent.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So those excuses, never fly with me. You know what I mean? Especially with something as tremendous as this, as much value and all these speakers. And I mean, how are you not not considering this? Do you want to go to Sedona for a few days and do nothing and listen to a worthless audiobook, or do you want to grow your business and grow yourself? And
it includes 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, the end of the year party. It's a full dinner.
Yeah.
So for the whole, it's an incredible event.
Yeah. So we got about 30 seconds till we go into our first break. And everybody out there, if you have any questions, regarding the event, Tucson Business Networking, for Mark or for myself, please give us a call. 520-790-2040. That's 520-790-2040. In the next segment, we're going to get into how you got started with Tucson Business Networking and some of the things you did very, very well, and some of the things you wish you could get a redo on. So thank you for listening to the Marketing Corner. We'll be back in a few minutes. And we are back with the Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Shawn Campbell. Co-host today, Mark Weiss, and very, very special guest, Stacy Fowler of Tucson Business Networking. Stacy, what are some of the things you think you did very, very well when you started putting together Tucson Business Networking? What's your superpower, Stacy?
My superpower for anyone putting together something like this is just work all the time and and be not only I'm just kidding, but be extremely organized. Make sure every I is dotted and T is crossed. You just and minimize those mistakes and just work until, I don't go to bed until everything's done.
Yeah.
And completed.
Yeah.
And you want to ask a question?
No, I was just going to say, I think you embody, to me, the phrase that we're familiar with is, when you love what you do, it doesn't seem like work.
It doesn't seem like work.
Yeah. And you really do love what you do. And you kind of carry it with you wherever you go. Whenever you're talking to people, when you meet new people. You're Stacy Fowler, but you are Tucson Business Networking.
Yeah. Stacy, what are some of the things that if you had to redo? Adversities, failures along the way, it's all part of the growth process, So anybody building a business in general, what's some advice where this is where I kind of failed and this is advice that I would give, somebody? Because failure is a huge, huge part of any business's growth.
Always. Yeah. We've talked about that before. Failing your way to success.
I don't know. How have I failed?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily like failures, but maybe some things that you would redo or do over or do differently.
Maybe started sending thank you notes from the first day. Instead, maybe that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We put you on the spot.
I know, I'm on the spot. Maybe started Tucson Business Networking earlier.
Yeah.
Years earlier.
Yeah, it would be too big now. You would be too big to be on the show.
No. I'd really, really love to get a grant and be able to find another person to work with that has the same thought process that I do.
Yeah, and you don't have to answer this question because have you thought about maybe replicating this and moving this to Phoenix or to other cities?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
I have, but problem is
there's only one Stacy Fowler.
No, it's not.
That's what Steven's for.
No, it's not that. But what if somebody messes up or does something bad to the brand? It's not a national or international. I do this whole business through my home.
Yeah. See, this is where we can get into a tremendous discussion because I had this very discussion with a new potential client this week. And he is Tyler. Very, very meticulous in what he does, right?
Right.
And he's afraid to hire anybody. He wants to reach $1 million in sales, and he can. He has a tremendous reputation. He's booked out till next summer, right? But he's too afraid to hire a crew because he's afraid that their work won't be as great as his.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that control factor.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the things, if Stacy's going to be, CEO of a major, and rival BNI. And I was throwing that out there. I mean,
if I were 20 years younger.
No.
Yeah.
If you're 20 years younger, I mean, you'd be what, 13, 14?
Thank you.
Didn't you win Arizona Daily Star Reader's Choice Award for Best CEO in 2023, something like that? Like back to back, I think you won. 2022,
2023. And I got the favorite award in 2024.
That's
and Mark
awesome.
Weiss, you've won Reader's Choice 3 years in a row for best salesperson.
Well, honestly, it wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for my participation in Tucson Business Networking.
Goodness.
So.
And I came in second place in the spelling bee in the second grade, so that's all I got.
They wouldn't even allow me to enter that contest.
Yeah, so we got 7 awards between the two of you with Reader's Choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're back to back, right?
Actually, 3 years in a row.
You
22, 23, and 24. Yeah, I was able to three-peat.
Are you going to be, talking about, with your luxury, aspect in Stacy's event next week? I mean, how much of that secret sauce are you going to be giving out, Mark?
I'm going to give some pretty good chunks of information.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about understanding the luxury mindset. We're going to talk about the art of the high touch sale. We're going to talk about being brand ambassador, the experience building long-term relationships with. So I'm going to dive into it pretty good.
Do you think you have an idea of how much work you've gotten out of Stacy's group?
We've had this conversation, especially on a text thread on your LinkedIn recently.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I do that don't generate an instant ROI, return on investment.
Yep.
So I would say the greatest ROI that I've gotten from Tucson Business Networking is the relationships,
100%.
The top of mind,
100%,
and the friendships.
Yeah,
that's been the key.
Yeah. So if someone is not good at networking, and they're like, I'm never going to join Tucson Business Networking, give that person, 3, 4, 5 tips on how they could become a good networker.
Well, before you even go to doing an event, go on my website and look over the magazines, and there's numerous tips, articles written by our members. Our members write tips, and our 6th magazine should be here this coming week, and then I'll be adding it to the website. And I feel like networking is just greater than way to get business than maybe print. A lot of different ways. I've done print ads and things, and it doesn't generate anything when someone comes and talks to you face to face at an event. That's where all the magic really happens. And when somebody attends an event, if they're nervous, and a lot of people tell me they're nervous, I'm like, let me have your hand and let me introduce you to people. And then I find other people in the room to help the person feel comfortable. We just had a lunch on Thursday, and there was a man that works for a landscaping company, and we were at Old Tucson a couple weeks ago, and he says, Stacy, I've never done anything like this. I need some help. It's funny, more men tell me that than women, that they're nervous. I'm not sure why. So I took him to a few different people, and he had wonderful things to say at the luncheon 2 days ago, that he felt comfortable, he was excited, he was happy to attend, and now he's going to the conference.
Nice. Very nice. Hey, Mark, what is some of the, in attending Stacy's events, I mean, do you see common errors sometimes?
Sometimes people can tend to over talk their way or talk too much about, the whole idea about attending an event is getting to know and establish relationships. If you spill too much about yourself and not seem interested in what the other parties are doing and have to say, the whole idea is to try to find a connection, a business connection, someone that I can do business with, and a relatability factor. So some people may not know how to not talk about themselves, or they're like Stacy said, they're nervous,
right?
So they talk more about themselves. But if you ask questions of other people and let them talk and open up. I find that that's really key. That helps.
Yeah.
You want to get both parties engaged.
Yeah.
You don't want to barf all over somebody.
How important is consistently showing up? Can you show up to one and be good to go?
No, you got it's something that you got to do over a period of time. You got to keep going. I can't tell you how many times I've run into people who say, "Oh yeah, I tried that networking thing," and I'm like, "Well, how often did you go?"
Time.
I went one time. I handed out a couple of business cards. I didn't get any business from it.
Yeah,
that's not realistic.
Yeah. Again, if you have any questions and you're listening out there, 520-790-2040. Stacy, when you started putting together your list of speakers for next week's event, did you pretty much get everybody you wanted that you'd hoped for? I mean, 37
I wanted Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And I called his agent, and he doesn't speak. I wanted someone from the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
So we exchanged. There was who's the I'm my memory here. Who's the new manager of the Reds? Who used
Terry Francona.
Terry Francona.
Yeah,
So okay.
U of A alumni.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the last few years, I've been messaging him on Facebook that this idea is I want to do this. So he was my very, very first person that I wanted to speak.
Yeah.
So he can't come this month because he's taking his grandchildren to Disney World.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I'm looking at doing the next conference October of next year.
Okay.
So not in December.
Yeah.
So
a few months earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, less conflicts.
Yeah.
But in terms of when I started building this, the agenda in May, I was talking with Mark, and I said, "Who do you know? Who do you know?" And it just I kept building on who do you know? Who do you know? Because even though I'm a native, I've lived here. I'm just coordinator of this event. I don't know a ton of people that would be perfect. So as I networked, it's all networking, asking, and Mark says, "Well, I know Coach Kendrea," and I called him, and he was so nice on the phone.
Yeah.
He was so nice.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of just started falling in my lap, and I had several people that wanted to be speakers, but I was already filling up, or I kindly just said, it's really hard to say no to someone.
Right.
Maybe no, not now, but next time or another time.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Your very first time you got together with Tucson Business Network, and how many were in your group? Do you remember?
Oh, you mean my first meeting?
Your very first one back in, was it 2017, 2018?
It was July 20th, 2017, and there was 87 people.
Awesome. 87?
87 people at Fox and Hound. It was storming. Roads were flooded. People couldn't go. We packed the room.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Did everybody sign up then as a member of those 87?
Oh,
Maybe.
I think we need to talk about this after the break, and we'll continue. That's a longer story.
Thank you for paying attention to the timer. I appreciate that. Yeah. For the record, I did kind of pre-scold the two of these people. We got about 30 seconds left before we get to the bottom of the hour, but we got a lot to talk about these last two segments of the Marketing Corner. We got co-host Mark Weiss and special guest Stacy Fowler. We'll be back. We are back in the Marketing Corner. Co-host Mark Weiss, special guest Stacy Fowler. So before we got into, or actually getting into the last break, we started the story of what was your motive to getting Tucson Business Networking started? What was the spark? What was your big why in doing this?
So I graduated from Saguaro High School. 1987 was my graduating year. That makes me 55. So I
double nickels.
I can't drive 55. So I coordinated my 10-year reunion when I was 28, and then decided to coordinate the 30-year reunion. I wasn't a popular girl. What I love doing is bringing people together, and so I decided to do the 30-year. And I spent 10 months I had that much time to put it all together. It was a phenomenal event at Hacienda del Sol. We had a huge turnout, and I knew if I could coordinate a high school reunion, which can be very frustrating, I could do anything.
Yeah.
So when it was over, I also had an elementary school reunion, elementary school luncheon during that time. We took a tour of Saguaro. It was an amazing event. But I knew if I could accomplish that, I could do anything. So 5 weeks later to the day, at the time I was working for an automotive company in business development.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call. I was in about a dozen different chambers and networking groups. And I got a call from someone in one of the groups that asked me to be the spotlight speaker that Thursday. And it was July 1 of 17, and I was out with my family. We were having lunch or whatever it was. And I immediately, I got this phone call, and the person said, would you like to be a speaker at this particular event on Thursday? So it's a Saturday. It was going to be on Thursday. And I said, absolutely. So that night on a Saturday, even though the presentation's on Thursday, I start working on this presentation, but I didn't want to talk about automotive repair. I wanted to talk about networking. So I put all my notes together. It ended up being three pages of notes. And then I would have had to print for everyone that I was going to speak in front of on Thursday. And although I liked the people, but not enough I ran out. First of all, I ran out of printer and paper, so I had to run out and buy more printer or more paper and more ink. And I mean, I like the people, but not enough to
it's not cheap.
like back then, it wasn't. So I said, well, forget it. I'm not going to print all this paper. I'm just going to start my own networking group. So it was a Saturday night, and then I'm going to just talk about what I decided to create. And I didn't have any handouts because I didn't have enough paper or toner anyway, and I didn't feel like going to Walmart that night. So I started it all, and right away I had to figure out what I was going to name it. And I checked the Arizona Department of Trademarks. I checked Facebook. I checked everywhere, and I decided on the name Tucson Business Networking. I purchased the trademark name for $10. Everyone, if you have a company name, because your name can be stolen. So go to the Arizona Department of Trademarks and somewhere in there and pay your $10. So I did that, and I have a bunch of other names that are purchased as well if I ever expand. So my first event, I go into work on Monday, and I was talking with someone that I work with, and I said, I'm so excited. I'm super excited. Guess what I did on Saturday night? Now I got to find a venue. And he said to me, well, I have a buddy that's the general manager of Fox and Hound. Oh, take me, please. So I go in there, and I asked the man if I could have this event on third Thursday. So I decided when I started this whole thing, third Thursday, TH for Thursday and TH third.
Easy
so easy. Third. So I thought third Thursday. So he was happy to do it, and he just put out some chips and salsa and nothing else. But I started it. It was 87 people, and then I did it again in the next month, the next month, and then by December, I think it was December 20th, 2017, I had over 300 people at Desert Diamond Casino.
Wow.
And from July to December, it was all free. I was footing the bill for everything. I thought, my mom said, you can't do this. You're going to go broke. You got to figure something out. So after December, I knew I had something good.
Yeah.
And I needed a website. So my website went live in March of 2018. January 2018, I started charging a very small amount. But and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually getting paid for this. But then I needed, but before that, I I made sure I was in LLC. I made sure I had insurance. God forbid someone got hurt at an event.
Yeah, we're a little tipsy.
Right? So I carry business insurance.
Yeah.
And from there, it just got bigger and better. And so in 2020, when things got rougher, much rough, I decided that, well, I had an event planned March of 2020 at Playground, and I was the last event that backed out, but because I couldn't have the event there. So I thought, well, how am I going to keep this going for all the hard work that I've been doing? And I had about 300 members then in early 2020. So I did some online, some Zoom meetings, and then I had only had events for those few years, the third Thursdays. So I decided to have breakfast or lunch events, but keep it under 50 people. And I had to follow the Pima County rules. And so I did the lunches and breakfast when no other chamber, any group, any association had in-person events.
Yeah.
We masked up. We did everything.
Yeah, nice.
And I just didn't want to lose what I created. And then when things got easier and we were able to have large events again, I was asked by many members, don't give up the lunches or the breakfasts.
Wow.
Keep them.
Yeah.
Keep them.
Yeah.
So that's really how it all started, was because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think you do better than any other networking organization out there is that every luncheon, every mixer is always at a different place. It spotlights a different place. It may be a different, like one event's at Oro Valley Country Club, the other's over at Vito's, the other's instead of meeting at the same location, the same day, every single week or every time. So you always change it up. You always mix it up. How is it that you pick and choose those places, those events?
For the lunches, I always have to have room for at least 100 people with parking. I will admit I cannot always hit a home run with every luncheon because maybe the food's not so good or something. I can't please everyone every time. But however, I move those events all over Tucson. So when someone lives on the east side or north side or south side, or whatever around town, I want to move them around because that brings more people or different people and different guests. Because one person that may be wanting to go to an event, that might be too far, but next month it's better. And I love helping the small businesses as much as I can.
Right.
And then I
do they see the value that you're bringing them?
Oh, 100%.
Good.
100%. They love it, and they want me to continue rescheduling.
Good.
Yeah,
And a
that's
big
awesome.
one is the C Charo group, El Charo, Ray Flores' group.
Yeah.
I do a lot of events with him. He's so great to work with.
I got Ray coming in next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's actually the open speaker on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool.
He and Gary Hickey.
Nice.
Yep.
So I was just going to ask, with the growth of Tucson Business Networking, have other places like reached out to you to say, hey, we want to have your event here. We've heard about you. We've heard about
all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Awesome.
Good.
All the time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm previewing. I'm going. I'm looking.
Yeah, because I've had much smaller events, right? That and the people that just, I mean, I've showed up and they're not even set up for me, and it's just one of those things where I know I got a small group, but nonetheless, typically I do stuff on Tuesday nights,
right?
And if it wasn't for the small group coming in, and you would have zero,
right? They'd have nothing going on.
Yeah, so
if I have a really great event, which mostly I do, I schedule that right away before I leave for the following year.
Oh wow!
So 2025 is almost filled.
Wow!
And then soon I'll have the ending.
You got 3 more spots, right?
Maybe. If you go to the website and you go on to TucsonBusinessNetworking.com, upcoming events. There's a few.
Yeah.
So, but I always like to keep a few open just for
Just in case.
new companies. You never know. I don't. I need to keep those opportunities open.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds left in this third segment. We got one more segment left. I'm going to ask you what your big goals are for 2025 next segment, Stacy. So you got a few minutes to think about that.
All right.
You are listening to the Marketing Corner. We'll be back with you. Last segment of the Marketing Corner. Did you like that little last ad there, Mark? You're gushing over there. You're like, yeah, that's me.
I'm a proud papa.
So before we get into this last part, I always want to thank John, our engineer, for coordinating this and making this a great show each and every week.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Our sponsor is David Bradley, Medicare A to Z. David's a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
From back in the day. Candace Eaton Photography, Jamar Jordan, Tax Specialist, Roger LaFay Processing, Danny McPadden, Lashbridge Media, the best videographer in town. Of course, Mark Weiss, Sales Performance Strategies. How does someone get a hold of you, Mark, if they want to get a hold of you?
520-338-5514 or markweissguy@gmail.com.
Or come to the conference and come
Right,
listen to him for an hour.
Wednesday, December 10th at Casino del Sol.
Yeah.
He'll be speaking on December 11th.
Or 11th. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And we got Mo Russo, executive and business coach. And, of course, Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders Unlimited. Be a guest at your own party.
Like it.
Party. Next week, Ray Flores and co-host David Bradley. I got some big guns on this show each and every week.
Sure do.
You know, just
You know what,
huge.
though? Everybody's a big gun in Tucson.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Yeah, everybody can be. And
Everyone
that's
is.
really the purpose of the show, right? Is to motivate, tell stories. And if someone is, thinking about, building a small business or they're kind of stuck or whatever, you can listen to every show and there's some golden nuggets that are just out there that are just like your last segment right now, Stacy, was phenomenal. Mark and I were just like listening to you and we kind of forgot that we're actually live on a show. That's happened to me a few times.
Right.
With Edmund Marquez. That was my worst show ever because I'm just like getting all pumped up and fired and I forgot I was hosting the show.
Yeah, no, Stacy's got a great story to tell.
Yeah. Stacy, your big goals for 2025.
Well, I want to tell everybody it's absolutely not about me. I would not be doing this if it if it were just to benefit me. It's really what I thrive on is everyone else's success. I could work for someone else and actually make money. I don't I don't take a paycheck for this. I want to see people succeed. This is my life. This is my journey. This is what I've been made to do. Yeah. And there's nothing I'd rather be doing than seeing people at events and hearing stories. Yeah. Actually, if you look at the last magazine from summer 2024, it's all about stories that people have gotten from or successes from the events and belonging or being a guest, or going to the events. So I do have some goals, but these goals carry on all the time. I want more people to attend events. I want more people to join. I would love to get to 500 members. I know it took 30 years for a couple of chambers to get to 600 members. Yeah. So I could easily do that, but I don't have a whole lot of time I don't go out and sell.
Right.
I go to different networking events and I give out my card. I make introductions. I make friends. I pass out magazines. I don't go out and sell. I just I introduce myself, and I would love to get to 500 members. I don't know. That's just a number, almost like I'd like to have this much money in my bank account. People think, or this many friends. It's just kind of something. It's not truly a huge goal, but another goal is I do work all the time. I'm up in the middle of the night, and I don't go to bed, and I work on Tucson Business Networking. There's a lot of back end computer work. People change jobs a lot, and there's different people that join, and there's just a lot of admin things. And I would love to hire another person, maybe even a salesperson, someone that could duplicate my efforts, that would like to go to these different events and make a name of themselves and talk about Tucson Business Networking. I'd love to have someone. And next summer, I am. This is just a recent thought. I'd like to have a huge breakfast and bring some people that are professionals in the financial world and talk about outlook and maybe investing, about saving and having some investment outlook. So that's kind of on my just something I'm thinking about in June when maybe more people are. In summertime, we're going on vacations and things, or people will just stay in Tucson. I think if I had a large couple, 200-300 person event at a breakfast with some amazing speakers, I'd like to do that. And then the next Arizona Business Networking Conference, I'm thinking about October 15, 16. I like that date because the 16th is the third Thursday in October, and I don't have anything scheduled in October, and it's before the holidays, and people don't have as many excuses. So I'm thinking about doing it then.
What about you, Mark? What are your big goals for 2025?
Well, big goals for 25 is to grow personally, grow professionally, and grow my clientele. I'm waiting for you to give me a suggestion of what book. I put on LinkedIn yesterday, and I'm taking suggestions. And the first 20 books that I get suggested, I will listen to. So nice. Give me one right now, so I add to the list. Well, the most recent one that I read was a book called Persuasion. By Scott Nagel. And it talks about. I won't go too deep, but definitely the difference between persuasion and manipulation, is intent. Right. What's your intent? So it's really, it's a good book. All right. I got 6 minutes left in this segment. If you're listening out there, you want me to listen to a book that you're suggesting, I'm going to listen to 20 books in 2025. So I think I got about 3 or 4 on the list. I just posted this yesterday on LinkedIn. Oh, so cool. I'll have to go look at that. I got a few already in mind, but I would take people's recommendations. Do you listen to any podcasts or books, Stacy? Do you got a recommendation for me?
I don't have much time to read. I don't have much time to read. I never listened to podcasts, but a few years ago. You're going to listen to this one, though, next week, right? Sure, I might. But then I'll say, oh, my gosh, my voice, my radio. We all do that. But I did enjoy reading. On the website. I read a book a long time ago, and it was the Sam Walton book on Walmart and his beginnings, and I wasn't as much of a fan of Walmart until I read his book, and so I really, really, really enjoyed that book. And I know he passed in around 1990, but I like that story. I like that book.
What do you guys kind of foresee? What's going to happen here in Tucson? Not to get one side or the other. I always mention that, but after the election, in the car business in particular, Mark, are you seeing an uptick? It's kind of we thought that after the election, people would would kind of cut the purse strings a little bit, kind of loosen up, but it hasn't really taken off like I thought it. What's interesting, we talked this week, and a buddy of mine, Brandon from Lifted Trucks. I'm going to charge him for that little plug right there. But he says they have opened. It's a different vehicle than you're selling luxury. These are lifted trucks, but he's swamped. He's busy. So I would imagine that there's probably quite a few people that were holding off until the election, so they weren't making any big purchases, and so that money kind of sat until there was a decision made. And then once the decision was made, now they're ready, more comfortable. So
I think more and more people will want to get together, get out of their house, and go to networking events and build their business through one-on-one and at these events. So 100%. I believe that my events will grow and get bigger in 2025. No question about it, especially with the lineup of events. The first luncheon in January is at Arizona Sands Club. Nice. I have so many different places I'm having events in next year. I'm just trying to grow and get bigger and better, and it's just really all about the other person. One thing that I always talk about on the show is embracing AI, but as much as that can make you efficient in what you do and come up with new ideas and spark creativity,
nothing ever beats being belly to belly with somebody,
Authenticity,
eyeball to eyeball, and closing the deal.
I agree 100%. Yeah. You just it's the human factor.
Yeah.
And that'll never go away.
And one thing with people like quote unquote our age, where I'm in my 50s, and Mark, are you?
Yeah, I'm pushing 60.
Are you
60
really?
in January.
You look great.
Thank you, brother.
January what?
27th.
Mine's the 3rd, so we're going to have to celebrate.
All right.
On the show. We'll do it.
Perfect.
We'll do shots in the show.
All right, there we go. I can still party like a rock star. I just can't recover like one.
One thing that, we have is that ability to network and communicate, and it's very easy for us. Whereas, not to take anything away from this younger generation, but they maybe misstep sometimes a little.
Maybe misstep. I think they've been deprived.
Right.
It's really a kind of a tragedy. They've been deprived of the opportunity to actually learn how to face-to-face negotiate, face-to-face sell, interpersonal relatitions.
I really think, though, these type of networking opportunities have really been only in the last 10 years. There really were not as many groups.
You're right.
I mean, there were some, but not as big as it is now.
None.
Maybe I helped.
None that have grown as much as as quickly. And one huge advantage that, frankly, you have over all the chambers is that you rotate what you're saying, Mark, all over town.
Yep.
Right, where all the other chambers.
And it's 100% networking. So chambers are amazing, but they have other things. Their primary function is not networking.
Yeah. And as it should be, they have a little bit of agenda. That's a good thing that they have that agenda. But you're right, Stacy. It's not.
I'm not political. I'm not religion. Every person is always welcome. And that's how I want to close, is that for whatever reason that you want to attend an event, for friendships, I've had a couple of people get married that they met at an event.
Wow.
So for whatever reason, somebody wants to get out. Maybe they just want to try a new restaurant, or they want to make a friend. Everyone's welcome.
As the marketing guru, networking has been added as a crucial element to building your personal brand,
especially here in Tucson. It's number one.
Thank you, Shawn, and thank you, Mark.
How can someone get a hold of you, Stacy, if they want to learn more?
TucsonBusinessNetworking.com, and my contact information is in there.
And Mark, what about you?
They can reach me 520-338-5514 or markweissguy@gmail.com.
Yep. And real quick, it's the December 10th through the 12th.
Yes, and I have a few seats available.
Okay, cool.
Very few.
So, as always, thank you all for listening to the Marketing Corner. Next week, Ray Flores, David Bradley.